Archaeologists and doctors are baffled at this evidence of ancient brain surgery. We can see that they used some kind of an instrument to bore a hole through the skull in order to get to the brain. And this was found on the island of Chios on the North Aegean Sea, and dating back to 250 BC. Life impression throughout the world has been caused by the news about the find of a man's skull in the ancient city of Chios, the island of Chios. And we're referring to the very important find of a human skull in which there were traces of a delicate surgery that took place 250 years BC. The year 250 BC specifically, the male skull found with a hole of 1.62 centimeters in diameter in the left parietal bone, above the left part of the brain, of course, which shows that the man had undergone delicate brain surgery, a fact that confirms the high level of ancient Greek medicine. The recognition of the drilling is due to the anthropological collaborator of the effort of prehistoric and classical antiquities of Greece, Mr. Asterios-Aidonis. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. And one thing that comes to my mind is, what kind of anesthesia did they use? What kind of antibiotics did they use? And all the medication that goes through such a delicate surgery, of course. Now, the strange thing is that the Greek media learned such important news from the Times of London, where it was first published and made the rounds of the world, and the Ministry of Culture, after the dimensions of the issue and its publication by the Times of London, issued a statement recommending that a conclusion be avoided and that the tones be kept low. That, in other words, they didn't want to make too much of a fuss over this for some unknown reason. And yet it's widely acknowledged that this is an important finding in the history of medicine and confirms the writing of Hippocrates. Traces of the skull drill in the skull of a 50-year-old man shows that the level of medical knowledge was high, and the macroscopic examination showed the survival of that man for a long time after the operation took place. Anthropologist Asterios-Aidonis, who examined the find, dates it back to about 250 BC, report said. There is a 2-centimeter hole in the left back of the skull, which seems to have healed over time, he said. This fact shows that the patient lived after the operation, while there are few signs of infection. It's a male skull in the ancient city of Chios, from the island of Chios. And for today's data, the first skull examinations lead us to believe that the man lived for 5 or 6 years after the operation and died about 50 years of age. This particular find in Chios, despite its prominent importance, is not unique. A similar case has also been reported in Crete, Acharnes of Crete, the island of Crete. The excavation took place on a private plot in the area of Atsiki, where the Hellenistic necropolis of ancient Chios extends, where box-shaped tombs of the 2nd century were found. And in the 4 tombs of the plot, which are not the first to be discovered in the area where the skull was found, an equal number of skeletons were found of 3 men and a woman. And one there were even bounties, a diadem, and a belt adorned with gold leaf. So they must have been elite people. Now, according to the archaeologists, these are probably tombs of wealthy residents and his servant who lived 2,260 years ago. Truth, is it a luxury to ask about the fate of the skull? And as we were informed again, in Chios, in the area of Limniona, a prehistoric mammoth had also been found that left for study and disappeared en route between laboratories and most likely today adorns a foreign museum. Anyway, this is from Hellenian Imar image magazine, and it's translated for you from the Adrastigar. Please tell me what you think about this. Leave your comments. Thank you for your support.